All my life, I wanted to be the man who owned the house.
Tyler had extras make fun of me when I got on the plane.
For me, that was his way of showing his power over us and our careers, and that he doesn't have a problem with just killing one of us off.
I didn't know what was happening. I didn't know what was going on or the far-reaching effects of it. But the way I was growing up, I just moved through it. Go on to the next thing. You're okay. Boys don't cry. Shut up. Move on.
So your energy that you're carrying and the way that you move and the things that you do, the bullet doesn't have a name. I might get caught in the crossfire of your foolishness. I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna let you go. And at this age, baby, my sword is hot. It's sharp. It's black, so you can't see it in the dark. And it will cauterize before you know you're...
Jill Scott recently spoke candidly during a conversation with Angie Martinez, finally breaking her silence about her experience working with Tyler Perry. According to Jill, the emotional tears audiences saw in Why Did I Get Married weren't simply part of the script. She says they stemmed from real humiliation that she believes was intentionally created behind the scenes. For years, Tyler Perry Studios has been celebrated as a symbol of Black excellence, ownership, and opportunity. However, when you look more closely, a much more troubling narrative begins to surface. Allegations of toxic working conditions, labor disputes, and concerning behind-the-scenes practices have circulated for quite some time, with some describing the environment as exploitative and emotionally damaging.
Were to talk to Tyler Perry right now, what would you say?
I would say, I hope that you take accountability for what happened, and I hope that this has taught you not to treat your employees this way and to never use someone's dream to coerce them into a relationship that's not professional.
Jill Scott's recent remarks didn't come out of nowhere. They closely echo concerns that former writers, actors, and crew members have been raising for years. According to multiple insiders, Tyler Perry is said to run his operation in a way where professional boundaries are often blurred, and unquestioned loyalty to him is expected.
It's important to me. You know, all this whole life has been about me finding and maintaining a certain level of peace. So I need to know that you are who you say you are, even when nobody's looking.
When Jill Scott sat down for an interview on Angie Martinez's In Real Life podcast, what was supposed to be a feel-good conversation took an unexpected turn. The discussion initially focused on her long-awaited return to music after nearly a decade away, as well as her connections with legendary artists like Erykah Badu and D'Angelo. However, the tone shifted dramatically once the conversation moved to her acting career, particularly her role as Sheila in the 2007 hit film Why Did I Get Married?
How do you feel about how that role just set in people's lives and hearts? And there's memes and I don't know, something about that character, something about Sheila is like, what is that? Like, did it surprise you? And do you feel what I'm talking? You know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about.
There is a deep connection to this woman.
Yeah, somebody mentions her to me
If
pretty
you
much
remember
every
the
day of
film,
my life.
Sheila's character was defined by deep insecurities and constant emotional mistreatment. To portray that convincingly, Jill Scott wore an extremely heavy fat suit along with prosthetics to make her appear severely overweight. However, when it came time to film the now infamous airplane scene, Tyler Perry reportedly crossed a line. According to Scott, he instructed background actors to openly insult her and mock her appearance in real time. The goal wasn't just acting, he wanted a genuine reaction of humiliation. In her words, Scott says she was deliberately surrounded by strangers who were encouraged to verbally tear her down on camera.
Tyler had extras make fun of me when I got on the plane.
What?
They were just going back and forth making jokes about Sheila's weight. And obviously, you know, I had on a whole fat suit and it was cumbersome. The folks on the flight really went in on fat jokes. And it sucked.
Did you know they were
really
going to
hurt.
do
No, I
this?
did not.
That's like abusive
I did
a little
not.
bit like.
I felt like it was. Sorry, Tyler. I hated that shit. But I sincerely hated it. They were just going at
Does
me.
he know that? Did you after you say, yo?
I think I told him once or twice.
Yeah.
You
To
know, that I
understand why
remember
this
that.
situation is so disturbing, it helps to know how film sets typically operate. Background actors sit at the very bottom of the hierarchy and are usually told to stay quiet and blend into the scenery. By giving them permission to openly mock a lead actress, Tyler Perry reportedly turned that power structure upside down. Jill Scott explained that even though the insults were technically directed at Sheila, the character, being publicly ridiculed by a room full of people, blurred the line between acting and real life. The tears audiences saw weren't the result of a calculated performance. They came from a moment of humiliation, she says, was deliberately engineered. Afterward, Scott shared that she made a personal decision never to allow herself to be boxed into a single label, such as fat. Again, critics argue that this kind of directorial cruelty isn't an isolated incident, but rather a reflection of how Tyler Perry's broader studio system in Atlanta is said to operate.
To see what Tyler Perry was able to do with 200 or 300 acres and a military base. And
Yeah, it's amazing.
And how you could
Tyler Perry Studios isn't just another production campus. It operates in its own bubble, largely separate from the traditional Hollywood system. Once you step onto that lot, you're no longer working under standard industry norms. You're in an environment where Tyler Perry's word is final. And this is where the so-called brilliant business model begins to look a lot more like exploitation. In a typical Hollywood production, crews usually film around 3 to 7 script pages per day. That pace exists to allow time for proper lighting, safety precautions, rehearsals, and multiple takes to deliver strong performances. Perry's approach reportedly shatters that structure. Accounts claim his television productions can shoot anywhere from 20 to 25 pages in a single day, with feature films moving just as fast. A Fall from Grace was reportedly completed in only 5 days, while Straw, starring Taraji P. Henson, was shot in just 4. While Perry often presents this breakneck pace as evidence of black excellence, independence, and relentless work ethic, many crew members describe a very different reality. Behind the scenes, some have referred to the environment as a sweatshop.
Easier to shoot a 4-day movie because y'all did this movie in 4 days, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it more difficult because you got to do everything in those 4 days?
It's taxing, but I like it, especially when the subject matter is so heavy because I don't have to stay in it long.
Mm.
Right? Like that 4th day, I was like, oh my God.
Operating at that kind of speed comes with a serious physical and mental cost. 14 to 18-hour workdays are reportedly the norm rather than the exception. Mistakes aren't corrected. They're ignored because there's simply no time to slow down. One veteran crew member has said the workload is far heavier than on a typical set, yet pay rates and staffing levels don't increase to match the pressure. Perry is also known for hiring a large number of inexperienced crew members, people fresh out of school or new to the industry. On the surface, this is framed as offering newcomers a chance to break in. Critics argue it also creates a workforce that's inexperienced, deeply grateful just to be there, and too intimidated to speak up. In other words, an environment that's ideal for exploitation. That level of control reportedly extends into personal interactions as well. Some production staff have alleged the existence of a no eye contact rule on set. While claims like this are often associated with notoriously demanding celebrities, many say it fits perfectly with the God complex critics attribute to Perry. Psychologically, it reinforces the idea that he is the sole creative authority and everyone else exists only to serve his vision. It mirrors the same dynamic described in Jill Scott's story, people treated less like human beings and more like tools or props. And for anyone who assumes unions offer protection, history suggests otherwise. Tyler Perry's career includes several high-profile clashes with the very guilds meant to safeguard workers. One of the most notable incidents occurred in October 2008 on his hit TBS series House of Pain. The show was a massive success, earning an unprecedented 100-episode order and generating hundreds of millions in revenue. At that time, writers Kelly Griffin, Christopher Moore, Terry Brown Jackson, and Lamont Felton attempted to unionize with the Writers Guild of America to secure basic benefits and residuals. Perry's response wasn't negotiation, it was termination. All 4 writers were fired. His legal team claimed the dismissals were due to performance issues, with Perry reportedly saying, "They weren't giving me what I wanted." He also allegedly told an attorney he couldn't afford union rates, a surprising claim given the size of his distribution deals at the time. Although Perry eventually signed a union agreement to quiet the backlash, none of those writers were rehired. The message to workers in Atlanta was unmistakable. You can have a union or you can have a job, but not both. And while many crew members remain anonymous, they say this pattern of dominance doesn't stop with below-the-line workers. According to insiders, it also extends to A-list stars who dare to challenge Perry's authority.
The biggest entertainers in the world is Tyler Perry. And Tyler Perry told a lie on me. And that lie cost me 12 years of my career. 12. And I know that you work for that man. But as I told you before, and I'm going to say it again, until he fixes it, I will not stop, because that's how the monster is created. We're too afraid, we're too scared, we're too fearful that you're going to take something from me. So I'm just not going to say anything. Harvey Weinstein is where? He's in jail. Now, that's been going on for decades. But everybody said, let it go. Don't say nothing, which allowed that man to do more damage to women over the decades. As long as I can help it, I'm saying, Tyler Perry, you will not do this to another as long as I can help it.
Monique has openly spoken about what can happen when an actor refuses to bend to Tyler Perry's expectations, and her experience is often cited as the clearest example of retaliation. In 2009, Monique delivered a career-defining, Oscar-winning performance in Precious, a film executive produced by Tyler Perry and Oprah Winfrey. However, when award season arrived, she declined to take part in extensive promotional tours unless she was compensated. Her position was simple. Her contract covered acting in the film, not unpaid marketing. She believed she had already fulfilled the work she agreed to do. According to Monique, the backlash was swift and devastating. She has alleged that Perry, Winfrey, and director Lee Daniels effectively blacklisted her. It wasn't just that roles stopped coming. She claims they actively warned other studios that she was difficult to work with, cutting off opportunities and stalling her career at its peak. In her view, this wasn't a routine professional disagreement, but a deliberate punishment for refusing to provide free labor.
He called us up, right? And he said, I can see the pain in you and I can hear it. And I want to let you know that I would never do nothing to hurt you. But the conversation kept going on, only for Tyler Perry to admit he did start a rumor that I was difficult to work with.
For a long time, many people dismissed Monique as simply being bitter, but then she came forward with what she described as proof. She released a recorded phone call with Tyler Perry in which he allegedly acknowledges that she was blackballed and even expresses remorse, saying he handled the situation the wrong way. Still, admitting fault in private is not the same as publicly correcting the damage that was done.
The community is involved, and they want to see how it's going to play out. Because the community is saying, wait a minute, hold up. We don't know this sister to be no. We know she a loud mouth. We know she'll say some shit off the wall. But what we know about it is she true to her word.
And all I would ask you is two questions. The first question is, did you not just say it was wrong?
Tyler.
Did you not just say it was wrong, Tyler? To say she was difficult for not doing something that she was not contractually obligated to do? Did you not say that you would feel that that was wrong? Or am I missing something?
I absolutely said that, yes.
So
I'm not saying it now. I will let all of this cool off when I get back out on the press tour to promote my next thing. I know it's going to come up. That is when I will talk about it. But no, it's too hot.
According to Monique, Perry offered to issue a public apology, but it came with strict and humiliating conditions. He reportedly demanded that she first apologize to him and Oprah for her public comments, and that her husband and manager could not attend the meeting. Monique refused outright, seeing the terms as a power play designed to force her into submission rather than a genuine attempt to make amends. Her experience closely mirrors Jill Scott's. In both cases, the director's ego demanded total compliance. Whether it's background actors mocking an actress to elicit a reaction, or an Oscar-winning performer being pressured to beg for forgiveness to salvage her career, the pattern is the same. The puppet master remains firmly in control. Professional retaliation is one thing, but court documents suggest that the abuse of power at Tyler Perry Studios may run much deeper behind the scenes. The most serious allegations against Perry go beyond verbal conflicts or contract disputes, entering the troubling territory of sexual assault. Derek Dixon, an actor on BET's The Oval, filed a $260 million lawsuit alleging a disturbing pattern of misconduct. According to Dixon, the ordeal began in 2019 when Perry noticed him at a party and invited him to audition. What initially appeared to be a professional opportunity, he claims, quickly shifted into private texts and meetings unrelated to acting. The lawsuit highlights one particularly unusual text allegedly sent by Perry, which Dixon describes as more than casual conversation. He asserts that Perry used cryptic, pseudo-spiritual language as a manipulative tactic to demand access. Dixon also claims that Perry dangled the promise of career advancement, including producing his pilot script and expanding his role on The Oval in exchange for compliance.
We're over at his house. We're having some drinks in his guest house, and it was late at night, and he has a guest quarters, and said that you can sleep there instead of not driving. And his house is far from Atlanta and where I was living, and I got into bed, and then I noticed that he climbed into bed with me as well, and started rubbing my leg, and I jumped up out of bed, and he has said, turn around so I can look at you, and just commented on how I looked, and then he got up and left. So I thought after that instance, it was pretty clear that I was not interested in that type of
When
relationship.
Derek refused these unwanted advances, the friendly mentor persona reportedly vanished. Perry allegedly retaliated by threatening to kill off his character, and according to Derek, that's exactly what happened. He says he had no one to turn to, because Tyler Perry Studios operates without a functioning HR department for talent. This lack of oversight appears intentional. Without HR, there's no paper trail, no internal investigation, and no protection for victims. For many, the only option is legal action. Similarly, Mario Rodriguez filed a separate lawsuit seeking $77 million. Rodriguez alleges that he endured repeated unwanted sexual advances and sexual battery at Perry's private residence in Los Angeles. He also sued Lionsgate, claiming the distributor ignored Perry's alleged predatory behavior because of the enormous profits he generates.
Mario Rodriguez, who appeared in Boo, Medea Halloween, filed a lawsuit yesterday. He is looking to get about $77 million
Actor Mario
in
Rodriguez,
damages.
known for his role in Boo Media Halloween, filed a lawsuit seeking approximately $77 million in damages. These legal actions have reignited long-standing rumors of a billionaire's boys club operating within Perry's empire. According to the complaints, the alleged pattern involves targeting young, ambitious black men eager for a career break. They are lured with promises of fame and opportunity, only to be discarded the moment they resist the mogul's personal demands. Critics have compared this to the casting couch abuses of the Harvey Weinstein era, except it is framed under the banner of black excellence. The lawsuits also revealed a strategic legal maneuver by Perry's team known as venue shopping. They aggressively sought to move the cases from California, where labor protections are stronger, to Georgia, where Tyler Perry Studios holds significant political and economic influence, making it far more difficult to challenge him on his home turf.
Is not only a billionaire, but not only a huge star, he has a lot of pull and a lot of power in Georgia. Let's just call it what it is, right? So Derek did not want the case adjudicated there, but guess what?
I'm just tired of working so hard, giving my all, and getting paid only a fraction of what it's worth. Taji's words highlight the double-edged nature of Perry's system. While she was paid fairly, she was also subjected to grueling productions like Straw, which was filmed in just 4 days. Fair pay comes at the cost of sweatshop conditions. The demanding schedule may be balanced by a decent paycheck, but the physical and mental toll directly contributes to the burnout she described. In this system, performers are essentially trading their well-being for a market-rate salary.
Of working so hard, being gracious at what I do, getting paid a fraction of the cost.
Perry's approach to people often comes across as purely transactional, even when it involves family. On a podcast, he admitted to firing his own aunt from a production because, in his words, she wouldn't follow direction or take the role seriously. He framed it as an example of his willingness to make tough decisions, but many observers saw it as a striking lack of loyalty to the very family he publicly claims to honor.
Actual burnout because of the work. People go, you work a lot. I too, because the math ain't math and the zeros ain't adding up. that one job is not going to cover you for the year.
Yeah.
I wish I could just do 2 films and be like, because that's how they get paid. And I don't think people really understand the breakdown
If he can so
of the
easily
math.
discard his own aunt for not following orders, it's easy to see how disposable a stranger becomes. This brings us back to Spike Lee, who years ago criticized Perry's work as crude and buffoonish, pointing out its reliance on outdated stereotypes from the emasculated black man to the loud, over-the-top mammy figure.
She wanted a job. She would always call asking for money. I'm like, okay, I was sending the money. I was like, listen, I want to help you. I don't want to help you build this thing, not be welfare to you. So let me give you a job. She wasn't coming in, calling in all the time. Okay, well, you got to go because you want me to hand you the money, but you don't want to work for it. See,
Black art
that
doesn't
work
need
for me.
manipulation or humiliation to succeed. Tyler Perry's approach, however, seems to suggest the opposite, that pain and submission are the price of entry. His Atlanta studio starts to feel less like a creative space and more like a fortress, where his reality is the only one that matters and everyone else is just a prop. But I want to hear from you. What do you make of Jill Scott's revelations? Does this change the way you see Tyler Perry's films, or is it just proof that the industry has always been rigged? Share your thoughts in the comments and subscribe for more videos like this.
It's a complex subject, because each artist should be allowed to pursue the artistic endeavor. But I still think a lot of stuff that's on today is coonery and buffoonery. And I know it's making a lot of money, breaking records, but we could do better.
When you put together
that you get, all the things that deter you are really the impetus for your greatness.
Right.
These, like you said, these things are character building.
Right.
And you learn as you go.
Jill Scott